राम सर्वेभ्यः हृत्पूर्वक नमस्काराः। प्रवेशकक्ष्यायां सर्वेषां स्वागतम्। अद्य वयं तृतीयं पाठं पठिष्यामः। गतसप्ताहे अपि तृतीयः पाठः अस्माभिः पठितः। अद्यापि तृतीयं पाठं पठित्वा तदनन्तरं प्रायः लङ्लकारम् अपि पठिष्यामः। आदौ गुरुवन्दनम् उक्त्वा प्रारम्भं कुर्मः। A very warm welcome to all of you to the 40th class of Pravesha. As you know, we commenced with lesson 3 in the previous class and we will be continuing with lesson 3 today. We will be concluding lesson 3 and moving on to, depending on the time, but I think in all likelihood, we will have time to move on to learning the past tense of verbs, which will be very useful to you for lesson 4. So while we will not formally commence lesson 4 today, we will understand how the tables are formed for the verbs in past tense for Parasmai Padam and Atmane Padam. So as usual, let us begin with Guru Vandanam and Dhyana Shlokaha. All of you please sit up straight, take a deep breath and chant the verses. गुरुरेव गतिर्गुरुमेव भजे गुरुणैव सहास्मि नमो गुरवे न गुरोः परमं शिशुरस्मि गुरोः मतिरस्ति गुरौ मम पाहि गुरो ब्रवीमि संस्कृतं वाचा ध्यायामि संस्कृतं हृदा कुर्वे सेवाञ्च कायेन वन्दे संस्कृतमातरम् यो नरः संस्कृतव्योम्निह्यालयं रमते मुदा संस्कृतिं चैव संस्कारं विन्दते नात्र संशयः। संग्राह्य विषयेषु अस्माभिः श्लोकद्वयं पठितं गतसप्ताहे। सप्ताहः इत्युक्ते वीक्. So सप्ताहः means week, W-E-E-K in Sanskrit. Gata saptahe asmabhihi shlokadvayam patitam. We studied 2 shlokas. Vishnu shlokadvayam on Bhagavan Vishnu. Let us revise. I will chant once. Ekavaram vadami savadhanatya shrinvantu. Tadanantaram kenapi athva kayapi vaktum shakyate. Vasudeva sutam devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnau Vande Jagadgurum. Lakshmi ji, Lakshmi Bhagini, Kripaya Vadatu.
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्.
उत्तमं. धन्यवादाः लक्ष्मी भगिनी. इदानीं कृष्णन् जी, next shloka Krishnan ji. So let us just look at the meaning of this and then next shloka you can chant. So we learned the meaning of this verse. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Jagadgurum Krishnam Aham Vande. Tatra Aham iti padam nasti. Param Vande iti Vande iti Tatra Kriya Padam Uttama Purushe asti. Khalu? Atayeva we have to understand that it is aham vande, though aham is not there here. It's a very common feature in many of our shlokas and subhashitas that sometimes the subject is not explicitly there, but we know the subject by virtue of the verb which is used. Vande atmane padam latlakaraha uttama purushaha ekavachanam. So it is aham vande. So I bow to Lord Krishna, or I prostrate to Bhagavan Krishna, the guru of the entire world, the son of Vasudeva, the slayer of demons like Kamsa and Chanura, and to the one who brings immense pleasure, joy, or bliss to his mother, Devaki. The words mother also, the words his mother are also not there explicitly in the shloka. It just says Devaki Paramanandam. But we know that Devaki is Bhagavan Krishna's mother. Idanim Anyaha shlokaha Shuklambaradharam Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasannavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye. Idanim Krishnanji. Krishnanji, कृपया वदतु.
राम राम.
राम राम कृष्णनजी.
शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्न उपशान्तये.
So a few observations, Mahodaya. First of all, the Mahapranas, Dhyayet, Chaturbhujam. So these Mahapranas should be a bit clearer when you chant. Shuklam Baradharam, Chaturbhujam, Dhyayet, Sarva Vighnopashantaye. These should be a little clearer. And we generally in a shloka, this is called the Anushtup Chandas, where each pada or each quarter has 8 letters. If you count Shuklam Baradharam Vishnum, 8. Like that, every quarter pada has 8 letters. So we don't split generally between a pada. So it is preferable that we chant it as Sarva Vighnopashantaye instead of Sarva Vighna Upashantaye. Okay, these are the observations. Dhanyavadaha. Dhanyavadaha.
Namaskar.
Namaste. Very famous shloka again. May we pray to Lord Vishnu, or may we meditate upon Lord Vishnu. Dhyana, it says. So, to do dhyana, to meditate, or to invoke Bhagavan Vishnu, who wears white robes, Shukla Ambara Dharaha, is radiant like the moon. Shashi Varnam, who has the color of the moon, or who is radiant like the moon. Chaturbhujam, who has 4 arms. Prasanna Vadanam, who has an ever pleasant or a blissful face. Sarva Vighnopashantaye, for the removal of all obstacles, let us pray to him, or let us meditate upon Lord Vishnu or Bhagavan Vishnu is the meaning. Mudhaha Jambukaha iti katha asmabhihi pathita. एकवारं भवन्तः भवत्यः अपि पठितुं शक्नुवन्ति. गीता भगिनी.
हरि ओम भगिनी, शुभोदयं.
शुभोदयं जी. कृपया पठतु.
अस्तु. मूढः जम्बूकः. एकः जम्बूकः अस्ति. सः एकदा आहारार्थं वने भ्रमति. एकत्र सः द्राक्षालतां पश्यति. लतायाम् अनेकानि द्राक्षाफलानि सन्ति. तानि पक्वानि.
धन्यवादाः. धन्यवादाः.
अस्तु भगिनि, धन्यवादाः.
उत्तमं.
धन्यवादाः.
Very well read, Geeta Bhagini.
धन्यवादाः भगिनि. Your guide.
Sorry, Geeta Bhagini, sorry, you were saying something.
Your guidance, भगिनि. धन्यवादाः.
Not at all. It's all your effort which you all are putting in. I'm so happy with even in the WhatsApp group, the kind of exercises and all of you are doing. So dhanyavadaha. Next, Amuta Bhagini. Kripaya agre pathatu. Jambukah chintayati.
Namaskar.
Namaste.
Jambukah chintayati atha mama drakshal adya mama draksha palan bhojanam iti.
Kripaya punaha ekavaram pathatu. Samyak na shruyate ateva. Adya
mama draksha palana bhojanam iti.
Bhojanam tatra mahapranah asti. Draksha phalanam bhojanam. Agre api pathatu.
Sahatani draksha phalani.
Kshamyatam. Atra draksham labdhum.
Draksha labdhum upari utpati.
Utpatati.
Patati.
Utpatati vadatu.
Utpatati. Kintu draksha phalani na pravanodhati.
Na prapnoti.
Sorry, na prapnoti.
Dhanyavadaha Muta Bhagini. Dhanyavadaha. Punaha pathanena tatra uttamaritya pathitum shakyate. Nirargalata agachati. So you will get the fluency when you go on reading aloud. What we need to do is to go back to the methods we used to make our kids, young children learn a language. Whether it's English or any other language, we encourage them to read aloud and, repeat after us and all that. So by reading aloud, chanting aloud, we will definitely improve progress better rather than confining ourselves to reading mentally while studying. Just a tip for all of you. Ram Krishnamurti Mahodaya. कृपया अग्रे पठतु राम महोदय.
जम्बूकः पुनः उत्पतति तथापि फलानि न प्राप्नोति. जम्बूकः कपितः भवति.
कपितः न महोदय, कुपितः.
कुपितः भवति.
उत्तमम्. So kupitaha, like you all know, means gets angry. So even in Telugu kopam or in Kannada kopa is anger. So whichever language we are familiar with in any Indian language, we can try to draw parallels. A lot of the Indian languages words are they are drawn from Sanskrit and they might have undergone certain changes, but a lot of similarities you can find. Dhanyavadaha, Ram Mahodaya. Uttamam. Kshamyatam. Agre. Sujata Rani Bhagini.
Saha Tani Draksha Phalani Dushayati. Draksha Phalani Amlani iti bhavati.
Iti?
Vadati, sorry. Iti vadati. Anantaram swasthanam gacchati.
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 Uttamam, Sujata Rani Bhagini. Okay. One observation is whenever we have a Mahaprana, we should be careful to not make the previous letter or the next letter also Mahaprana. So for example, Gacchati, we have a tendency to say Gacchati, because we want to show that Cha is Mahaprana. That we should consciously avoid. And only where there is a Mahaprana, only that letter we should be pronouncing as Mahaprana. Subhashitam. अपि अस्माभिः पठितं खलु, गतसप्ताहे एव पठितम् अस्माभिः। एकवारं वदामि, पुनः केनापि अथवा कयापि वक्तुं शक्यते। न कश्चिदपि जानाति किं कस्य श्वो भविष्यति, अतः श्वः करणीयानि कुर्यादद्यैव बुद्धिमान्। A very nice verse. Sheetal Shah Bhagini.
Bhagini, Ram Ram.
Ram Ram.
न कश्चिदपि जानाति किं कस्य स्वो भविष्यति, अतः श्वः करणीय अतश्वः करणीयानि कुर्याद्यैव बुद्धिमान्। कुर्यादद्यैव बुद्धिमान्।
उत्तमं भगिनी। अत्र सर्वे पश्यन्तु. I will also ask another person to read out the shloka, because it has a lot of this jihva muliya and samyuktaksharas. Na kashchit api janati kim kasya. There, if you notice while chanting, kim kasya shvo bhavishyati, if you notice, there is a slight stress here between kasya and shvo, right? Kim kasya shvo, an extra sh is being heard if you listen to it carefully. So there's a difference between saying kim kasya shvo bhavishyati. Kasya shvo is without that stress, but when we chant it as kim kasya shvo. That extra sh is heard, right? So that is called dvitvam. Those who are very familiar with chanting and those who have attended our chanting courses will be knowing this. But this is for the benefit of those who are new, because this dvitvam is a very important chanting concept in Sanskritam shlokas. Dvitvam, as the name suggests, dvi means two in Sanskrit. So what is happening here? The letter is doubling. Though it is not written as double, so there is no extra sh there. Kasya shvo. It is only sh and v in shvo. There is no second sha. But while we chant, it becomes King kasya shvo. Sh is being heard extra. That is called dvitvam. Now, this class, we will not be able to go into the details or nuances of dvitvam. It's a very beautiful concept. It adds beauty to chanting, and also it helps in the chandas correctly, like the framing of chandas or the meter correctly. Now, if you want to know more about this, you can listen to any introductory class of any of our chanting courses in Vyoma, which would have dealt with Dvitvam, and also on the technical aspects of Dvitvam, why it happens, grammatically, why that is so. We have had a lecture by Dr. Soumya Krishnapur Bhagini on the nuances of pronunciation in our Venkateshwara Suprabhatam course. So in that course, where she has also explained why we need to pronounce as Brahma, Banhihi, exceptional Samyuktaksharas. There in that same video on YouTube, she's also explained about Dvitvam. So you will get to know that. But I thought we should learn this because Atrapi Pravesha Kakshayam Asmabhihi Aneka Sthaneshu Dvitvam Labhyate. So in many places in Pravesha, we will come across Dvitvam. Though it is not a part of syllabus, they won't ask you what is Dvitvam in the exam, and you won't have an oral chanting test. But because we are learning shlokas in Pravesha, we should be aware of these concepts also. And here, Atashvah Karani Yani, I told you here, it would be Visarga Sandhi, it would combine, and then Shtutva Sandhi. We will learn Sandhis at a later point of time. Atashvah Karaniyani, here, Jihva Muliya. Shvaha Karaniyani becomes Shvah Karaniyani. Kuriyat Adya Eva. There are three words here. Kuriyat Adya Eva becomes Kuriyad Adya Eva. This is just Diya. There is no Mahaprana here. It is not Diya. It is Diya. Like Vidya, Buddhiman. Okay. Now with these, I will request anyone else to chant the same verse. In case I call out your name second time and you have already had a chance to read or chant in this class, please let me know. Manasi Bhagini.
नमस्ते मैम.
Namaste.
नमस्ते. न कश्चिदपि जानाति
पुनः एकवारं पुनः वदतु.
न कश्चिदपि जानाति.
न कश्चिदपि, not कश्च, I, कश्चिदपि.
न कश्चिदपि जानाति किं कस्यश्वो भविष्यति.
Again. किं कस्य.
किं कस्यश्व.
Correct.
किं कस्यश्वो भविष्यति.
अत्र एक भविष्यति नास्ति, भविष्यति.
न कश्चिदपि जानाति. न कश्चिदपि जानाति किं कस्यश्वो भविष्यति. अतश्वः करणीयानि कुर्यादद्दैव बुद्धिमान्.
पुनः कुर्यात् वदतु.
कुर्यादद्दैव बुद्धिमान्.
It is not kuryadadhaiva. It is kuryadadyaiva.
Kuryadadaiva.
Not, there is a d and a ya here. I will just show you. Let me clear out. Okay. This letter here, it has a d and a y and an I. Kuryadadyaiva.
Kuryadadyaiva.
Buddhiman, yes.
Kuryadadyaiva buddhiman.
Uttamam, yes. Dhanyavadaha, Mansi Bhagini. Please,
Dhanyavada.
Yeah, please note all these things, Mansi Bhagini. So, this shloka has a lot of nuances in pronunciation. So, I'm just repeating it. Kuryadadyaiva buddhiman. Okay, idanim tatra artham patamaha. We have done this in the previous class. So nobody knows what will happen to whom tomorrow. Hence, the wise man should do today itself what is scheduled to be done tomorrow. Okay. Idanim samayaha. Time. Let us learn. This is a very interesting concept. How we, in English, we say 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock. So how do we denote time in Sanskrit? Let us learn a few words in the beginning, then we'll come to the clock. Adya, today. Hyaha, yesterday. Parahyaha, day before yesterday. Adya, hyaha, parahyaha. Praparahyaha, day before yesterday, or 2 days before yesterday. We don't have a word in English for that, but in Sanskrit we say praparahyaha. Adya, hyaha, parahyaha, praparahyaha. That is going back, going forward. Shvaha, tomorrow. Parashvaha, day after tomorrow. Praparashvaha, day after tomorrow, or 2 days after, day after tomorrow. See how beautifully it's given in Sanskritam. Ekavaram sarve pathantu. Adya, hyaha, parahyaha, praparahyaha. Adya, shvaha, parashvaha, praparashvaha. So you can get the entire week in this. Adya, kaha vasaraha adya. Vasaraha ityukte, day. So, Adya Ravivasaraha. Today is Sunday. Shvaha kaha vasaraha? Shvaha Somavasaraha. Athava Induvasaraha. Many of these days have more than one way of saying in Sanskrit. Parashvaha kaha vasaraha? Parashvaha Mangala vasaraha. Praparashvaha kaha vasaraha? Praparashvaha Budhavasaraha. Idanim tatra hyaha vadamaha. Adya Ravivasaraha. Hyaha kaha vasaraha? Hyaha Shanivasaraha. Parahyaha kaha vasaraha? Parahyaha Shukravasaraha. Praparahyaha kaha vasaraha? Praparahyaha Guruvasaraha. So you got the entire chart, right? All the 7 days of the week are covered. So this is how we denote days in Sanskrit, and the entire week will be covered. Okay, so this we have to be very clear on pronouncing and writing. Then we also have certain words which are not on the screen, but they are in the textbook, so I will tell you. It's easier to just have a conversation, to learn this by conversing in Sanskrit. Agami Ravivasare Pravesha Kakshya na bhavishyati. Okay, Agami Ravivasare Pravesha Kakshya na bhavishyati. The meaning is the following Sunday or the coming Sunday, Pravesha Kakshya will not be there. So that is actually true. On 21st May, we won't have a class because we have some family commitment at home. So 21st May, next Sunday, there is no class. So how do I say that? Agami Ravivasare Pravesha Kakshya na bhavishyati. Agami, coming. Agami Saptahe Vayam Shringeri Kshetram Gamishyamaha. Agami Saptahe, meaning in the coming week. Saptahaha. You must have heard this word many times when I'm speaking in class. Gata Saptahe Asmabhihi Tritiyah Pataha Pathitaha. Agami Saptahe Kakshya Nasti. Khalu, Agami Mase, that is next month, Vayam Chaturtha Patham Pathishyamaha. Agami Mase, in the next month, we will study the 4th lesson. Right? So, Agami, coming. Saptahaha means week. Masaha means month. Agami Pakshe Vayam Bharata Desha Yatram Kurmaha. Agami Pakshe. Pakshaha means fortnight. Krishna Pakshaha means the dark fortnight or the Purnima to Amavasya. Shukla Pakshaha means the bright fortnight, or that is Amavasya to Purnima, where the moon increases. Where it decreases, that is the Krishna Paksha, that is Purnima to Amavasya. So what all did we learn? Agami, coming. Saptahaha, week. Pakshaha, fortnight. 2 types, Krishna Pakshaha, Shukla Pakshaha. Then we also learned Masaha, month. Idanim kaha masaha asti? Idanim Vaishakha masaha asti. Khalu? Gata masaha kaha? What was the previous month? Gata masaha Chaitra masaha. Right? So this is how we know all this. Chaitraha, Vaishakha, Jyeshtaha, all these we know, right? In Sanskrit, we have the 12 months like we have in English. They're denoted by different names in Sanskrit. Shravana Mase Anekani Parvani Santi. In Shravana Masa, we have a lot of festivals, right? Ganesha Chaturthi Kada Bhavishyati. Ganesha Chaturthi Bhadrapada Mase Bhavishyati. So when do we have Ganesha Chaturthi? Ganesha Chaturthi comes in Bhadrapada Masa. So that is how Masa, it means that. If you know in our Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, Bhagavan says, Masanam Margashirshoham. So he says among the months, he is the Mrigashirsham or the Margashirsham. Masanam Margashirshoham. Among the months, I am the Margashirsha month. And Ritunam Kusumakaraha. In the seasons, he is the spring season. The 10th chapter, Vibhuti Yoga, where Bhagavan is describing how he is the best among everything, or his various manifestations. In that he says, Vedanam, he is Samaveda, Aksharanam, Akarosmi, and lot of things like that. Ritunam Kusumakaraha, like I said. So all these, it's a very beautiful chapter. For those who haven't read, you can read both the Sanskrit verse and the meaning. And among the objects which shine in the night sky, he says, he is the moon. Adityanam aham Vishnuhu Jyotisham Raviram Shuman. Jyotisham, among the luminous objects, he is the sun. So various examples like this. Anyway, coming back, Masanam Margashirshoham. So Masaha, the takeaway for today's class is Masaha means month. And next, so we learned Agami, Saptahaha, Pakshaha, Masaha. Varsham means year. So while doing any sankalpa, that is while starting any puja or anything like that, we say the name of everything, Bharata Varshe, Bharatakhande, Meroho, Dakshine Parshve, all that. And then we say the name of the year, Shobhakrit Nama Samvatsare, Uttarayane, the Ritu also. There are 6 seasons in Sanskrit. So what Ritu is it? And if it is Ramanavami, for example, it would be Chaitra Mase, Navamyam. So whichever, Ganesh Chaturthi, Bhadrapada Mase, Chaturthyam. So if you next time, those who are, most of you will already know this, but you haven't observed, next time you can consciously listen to what we are saying in these. You know, everything has a meaning. It's not just said just for the sake of it. It is to remind us where we are, right? And every time the Samvatsara name is said. So this Samvatsara, which entered after Ugadi last month, or rather in March, Ugadi, that is called Shobhakrit Nama Samvatsaraha. So it's either called Samvatsaraha or Vatsaraha. Both mean the same. So Shobhakrit Nama Samvatsare, we will say, for this entire year. Like that, there are 60 names, like I said, which keep repeating. And there is also, these 60 names are there in the form of shlokas. So in some exams, the syllabus also has memorizing all the 60 names of the years, which is why, after 60 years, there is usually a puja, etc., because they would have seen all the 60 years. And then again, it goes back to Prabhavo Vibhava Shuklaha. Prabhava is the first year's name. So that's how it goes. So Samvatsaraha, Athava Vatsaraha, Athava Varsham, these mean year. So these are certain units of time. So I hope this is clear. Now let us move to Samayaha. Sankhyanam Vishaye Vayam Janimah Khalu Ekam Dve Trini Chatvari Pancha Shat Sapta Ashta Dasha Ekadasha Dvadasha. Only till 12 here we have. So let us see what it is called in Sanskrit. Now, what we see here is Panchavadanam. Vadanam means time. So in English, what we say o'clock, in Sanskrit we say Vadanam. So what we see here is Panchavadanam, 5 o'clock. Shadvadanam, 6 o'clock. It has not shown 7, but 7 would be Saptavadanam. And 8 o'clock, what is shown here is Ashtavadanam. After Ashtavadanam comes Navavadanam. Then Dashavadanam, 10 o'clock. After Dashavadanam comes Ekadashavadanam. Then we have, this is Ekadashavadanam. Then we have Dvadashavadanam. After Dvadasha, okay, let us go through the others which we didn't see on the screen. After Dvadashavadanam, ekavadanam, dvivadanam, trivadanam. Okay, so I'm not drawing on screen. I'm sure you all understand. Ekavadanam 1 o'clock, dvivadanam 2 o'clock, trivadanam 3 o'clock, chaturvadanam 4 o'clock. Similarly, we started with Panchavadanam and we went till Dvadashavadanam. Okay, I hope this is clear. Vadanam is time. Now next we'll see what is for 5:15. So 5:15 in English, you know Panchavadanam is 5 o'clock in Sanskrit. So it is Sapada Panchavadanam. Sapada ityukte, sa indicates along with pada. So we have learned, right, whenever we learn shlokas, today also I told you, pada means quarter. Whether in a verse or in anything, pada means quarter. So quarter past 5. What is quarter? 15 minutes is 1 quarter, right? In a cycle of 60 minutes in 1 hour. So sapada, along with the quarter, Panchavadanam. That is 5:15. Okay, it's not written here. Let me write it here. It's already there in the book, but we should understand this clearly. Sapada. Pada ityukte quarter. So sapada, along with quarter, Panchavadanam. Similarly, we have for everything. Sapada Panchavadanam, Sapada Shadvadanam, Sapada Saptavadanam, Sapada Ashtavadanam. 9:15, Sapada Navavadanam. 10:15, Sapada Dashavadanam. 11:15, Sapada Ekadashavadanam. 12:15, Sapada Dvadashavadanam. 1:15, Sapada Ekavadanam. 2:15, Sapada Dvivadanam. 3:15, Sapada Trivadanam. 4:15, Sapada Chaturvadanam. Okay, now let us move to the next one. We did all this. Sapada Saptavadanam. Please look at the clock. I will only tell the English Sanskritam word. Sapada Saptavadanam. Sapada Navavadanam. Sapada Ekadashavadanam. Sapada Dvadashavadanam. Sapada. What you see on the screen is Sapada Trivadanam. 3:15. Sapada. Next one. Okay, we have a beautiful clock here. Now, 15 minutes we learned. What is 30? That is 30 minutes past 4. The word is Sardha. Sardha Chaturvadanam. Similar to Sapada. Pada ityukte quarter. Sardha, Ardha. We know 30 minutes is half of 1 hour, right? So Sardha Chaturvadanam is what you see on the screen. Sardha Dvivadanam is the time shown on the screen, 2:30. Sardha Ashtavadanam, 8:30. Sardha Dashavadanam, 10:30. Sardha Dvadashavadanam, 12:30. Sardha Shadvadanam, what you see on the screen. Sardha Shadvadanam is 6:30. See, even we got the Sanskrit word on the screen. Sardha. Okay, I hope this is clear. Next one. So we learned 3:15, 3:30. So we learned 15, 30. Now we are going to 45. So what is 45? 3 quarters. In other words, it is 1 quarter less, right? So what we see on the screen is 1 quarter less of 4 o'clock. What we are seeing here is 3:45, right? So instead of saying 3 quarters and 3 o'clock, in Sanskrit we say padona. Una means less. In English also we say quarter to 4, right? Quarter to 4 means 15 minutes less than 4. Una means less. Pada una, both of them combine to form padona. So what you see on the screen is padona chaturvadanam. That is quarter less than 4 o'clock, which means 3:45. Padona chaturvadanam, 3:45. Then, what is this? What you see on the screen? Padona navavadanam, 8:45. Okay. These we will learn later. Let us learn some padona. We'll get more examples of padona. So 3:45 is padona chaturvadanam. 5:45 padona shadvadanam. 6:45 padona saptavadanam. 8:45 padona navavadanam. Pada una, less, quarter less. 11:45 padona dvadashavadanam. Okay, now what do we say for this? It is, this is 9. It's pointing to 9. So this I told you was, let me use the same color. We will, Panchadhika Navavadanam. What you see on the screen, 9:5. 9:10 is Dashadhika Navavadanam. 10 above 9, Dasha Adhika or Dashottara. Dashadhika Navavadanam or Dashottara Navavadanam. 9:15, we already know it is Sapada Navavadanam. Next, 9:20. We all know 20 is what? Vimshatihi, correct? So, Vimshatyadhika Navavadanam. Vimshati Adhika Navavadanam. Vimshatyadhika Navavadanam. Then, 25. What is 25 in Sanskrit? Panchavimshatihi. So, Panchavimshatyadhika Navavadanam. Panchavimshatyadhika Navavadanam. Or Panchavimshadottara Navavadanam. Panchavimshatyuttara Navavadanam. Next one is Sardha Navavadanam, 9:30. We learned that. And what is this? What is 35 in Sanskrit? Panchatrimshat. Khalu? So Panchatrimshadadhika Navavadanam. Panchatrimshat Adhika Navavadanam. Next will be Chatvarimshat. 40 is Chatvarimshat. So Chatvarimshadadhika Navavadanam or Chatvarimshatuttara Navavadanam. You can also say Chatvarimshat Adhika Navavadanam separately if you're not confident of the Sandhi. Then what is 9:45? Padona Dashavadanam is 9:45. Right? We learnt Pada Una. So 9:45 is Padona Dashavadanam. What is 9:50? 9:50 would be, the R hand will be slightly different, but I'm just showing here for learning. So what is 9:50? Dasha Una Dashavadanam. So similar to Padona, Dasha Una. 10 less than 10 o'clock is 9:50. Like we say 10 to 10 in English. Then what is 9:55? 9:55 would be, like I said, the R hand pointing to 9 won't be exactly like this for 9:55. But if you all understand, it's enough. I can't change that because it's just, that is the figure on screen. So 9:55 is Pancha Una Dashavadanam. 5 less than 10 or 5 to 10. Pancha Una Dashavadanam. Then, of course, Dashavadanam. So I hope you all got the entire sequence of all the numbers in Sanskrit. 4 o'clock. So Padona Chaturvadanam. But we have already covered all this. So I hope you all understand exactly how we denote the time, because this picture isn't very clear. Okay. Padona is This what you see on the screen is Padona Shadvadanam, 5:45. This is Padona Dvadashavadanam, 11:45. This is Padona Saptavadanam, 6:45. This is Padona Ekavadanam, 12:45. Okay, this figure was for Padona, but I explained all the others also to you, 5, 10, 20, 25 and those things. So I hope that is clear. Please don't get confused. Okay. Now we have Samskrita Vangmaya Parichayaha. I don't think we have time to start Langlakaraha today. That's okay. We will do in the next class. I'll just answer the question here. It is adhika. So there is a question, is it adhiga or adhika? It is adhika. This is how it is written. Let me just show it before we go to the next one. Adhika is like this. But again, in the Pravesha syllabus, you don't really have you don't have 5, 10, 5, 5, 5, 20 like that. You only have 15, 30 and 45 in the Pravesha syllabus. But there will be a natural question to ask me, how would you indicate, say, for example, 9, 10, which is why I told you, Dashadhika Navavadanam. Adhika and Uttara, this is how we write. It is not Adhiga, it is Adhika. Uttara is written like this. Uttara is written like this. I will do one thing in the exercise class on Saturday. I will request Sudha Bhagini to denote these words in Sanskrit on screen. We did not do it for this class, but as you will have time on Saturday, I will request her to do that for your class on Saturday. So that will become clearer. Okay. Idanim Samskrita Vangmaya Parichayaha. So as we all know, every lesson we are getting introduced to one aspect of Sanskrit literature. So we started with the Vedas, Vedangas, Upavedas, and we moved on to the Upanishads or the Vedanta, the essence of the Vedas. And we also learned the Shad Darshanas, the 6 Darshanas. And also we learned Astika Darshanas, Nastika Darshanas, etc. So in this particular lesson, we are getting introduced to another school or another aspect of Sanskrit literature called Puranas. Puranani. The word Puranam, as you already know, it means ancient. Pura means before in Sanskrit. Puranam means ancient. Puranam is also an adjective in Sanskrit. Like we have Kalidasa Shloka, he says, Puranamityeva nasadhu sarvam nachapi kavyam navamitya vadyam santaf parikshyanyatarat bhajante moodhaha parapratyyaneya buddhihi. It just, the word Puranam reminded me of this verse. Here Kalidasa is referring to just old and new works, that's all, not to these Puranani. So Kalidasa says, just because some work is old doesn't mean it is great. Like, some author has composed it many years ago. Just because a kavyam is nava, nachapi kavyam navamitya vadyam. Just because a kavyam is new doesn't mean it is bad. So just by when it was composed, you cannot say something is good or bad. Sattaha, that is the wise people or the good people, parikshya anyatarat bhajante. Parikshya, having examined thoroughly. So the good or the wise examine a work thoroughly, objectively, by taking it in its true light, without judging, prejudging, without having any biases that it is old or new. Then they decide, by examining objectively, they decide the worth of a work. Moodhaha parapratyyaneya buddhihi. Whereas the foolish merely blindly follow what others say. So this is how Kalidasa tells us to analyze objectively anything we read, right? A very great verse. Anyway, Puranani. So we have many Puranas. While reading all this, we can wonder at the gamut, the vast expanse of literature we have, and how over several centuries such voluminous works have been produced in India. And one's lifetime is not sufficient to go through all these works, but it just shows the rich treasure we have in our country. And at some level, it is very unfortunate that we are not studying these as a part of our syllabus, because but with the advent of Western education, we study probably only just to get a job and just to study the subjects which land us jobs today. But imagine introducing some of these aspects at least in the curriculum for children, because a lot of us don't have time. Students are so busy, right, to study this outside. But I would urge all of you to please get to know more about it. I know there are many Shastric scholars who have dedicated their lives for studying these works and who are experts. But we should also introduce this in our curriculum and see to it that we know what literature we have in our country, irrespective of beliefs or whatever, to know the treasure of knowledge we have. Anyway, Ashtadasha Mahapuranani, 18 main Puranas. Puranam, very ancient works. So again, we are not getting into how ancient they are and all that, but they are very ancient works on various aspects. So Puranani, we will only give you the names of the 18 main Puranas or Mahapuranas, and they deal with various aspects. Some are stories of various deities, like Bhagavata Mahapuranam, we all know, is about the avatars of Vishnu, and the Dashamaskanda, we have the Leelas of Krishna being described, and it's a very important work for bhakti, for devotion. So like that, we have about various Skanda Puranam, about Kumara, Skanda, Subramanya, Kartikeya, whatever name we refer to him as. So each Purana, apart from the deities it speaks about, or the stories it gives us, it also has a lot of description of different parts of the country, the geographical features there, the importance of kshetras, the history of that place, and even aspects of medicine, sociology, and metallurgy, minerals, geographical features I already told you. So like this description of nature, in this way there are many aspects referred to in the Puranas, which is why I feel, at least we should know what a treasure we have in Sanatana Dharma. So let us read the names of the 18 Puranas. Matsya Puranam, Markandeya Puranam, Bhagavata Puranam, we know Vishnu and the avatars of Vishnu, including Krishna Avatara. Bhavishyat Puranam, Brahmanda Puranam, Brahma Vaivarta Puranam, Brahma Puranam, Vamana Puranam, Varaha Puranam, Vishnu Puranam, Vayu Puranam, Agni Puranam, Narada Puranam, Padma Puranam, Linga Puranam, Garuda Puranam, Kurma Puranam, Skanda Puranam. So these are the 18 Puranas. Read this over and over again. As you keep reading, by the time you take the exam, you will know these 18 Puranas. It's a very good aspect of our Pravesha syllabus that we are being introduced to all these different forms of literature available. Anyway, then Shastrani. We don't have too much time left. We have to complete this lesson today, so I'm going a little fast. Shastrani, the various Shastras. So Alankara Shastram. Alankara Shastram deals with the beauty of any literature. Alankara means beauty. So the literary aspects, the technical aspects, the various aspects which beautify literature. For example, Upama Kalidasasya, in simile, the Kalidasa is the king of similes. So Upama, Rupaka, all these are Alankaras. So these aspects also form a part of Alankara Shastram. And what are the important works? So the first column gives you the Shastram, second column gives you the Granthaha, the last column gives you Granthakarta. So Alankara Shastram, Granthaha, Dhvanyalokaha. Granthakarta, the author, Anandavardhanaha. Then Rasa Gangadharaha is the Grantha, the author is Jagannathaha. Then Sahitya Darpanam is the Grantha, the author is Vishwanathaha. See how many voluminous works we have on each Shastra. Right? So let's go to the next Shastram. Vyakarana Shastram, grammar. Granthaha Ashtadhyayi, author Panini. There are courses for Ashtadhyayi in Vyoma Labs. So those who are interested can learn that here. Even chanting Ashtadhyayi Sutras. Siddhanta Kaumudi, Bhattoji Dikshitaha, Mahabhashyam Patanjalihi. Next one. Tarka Shastram. Nyaya Sutrani, the Granthakarta is Gautamaha. Nyaya Manjari, the author is Jayanta Bhattaha. Tattva Chintamanihi, author is Gangeshopadhyayaha. All these are mentioned in the Pravesha textbook also. Then Purva Mimamsa, we learnt about this in the Darshanas, the science of interpretation. The main author who gave us the school is Jaimini. So Jaimini Sutrani by Maharshi Jaimini. Tantravartikam by Kumarila Bhattaha. Shabara Bhashyam by Shabaraswami. Then we have Uttara Mimamsa, like Vedanta Shastram. We learnt about this in the previous lesson. Brahma Sutrani by Badarayanaha. Upanishadaha, there is no Granthakarta because Upanishads and Vedas are considered to be Apaurusheya. Apaurusheyatvat. They are not authored by humans. So Upanishad, we don't have any Granthakarta. Bhagavad Gita, Badarayanaha or Vyasa. That is why we say Vyasa, because Lord Krishna gave us the Gita as Upadesha to Arjuna. But who wrote it down in the form of a Grantha in the Mahabharatam? It is Vyasa, Maharshi Vyasa. So Badarayanaha. Okay, let us stop here for today. Any other questions on the time will be discussed in the Saturday's class, including writing in Sanskrit and showing you on the screen. Sandeep ji, yes, you're expected to memorize the Puranas, Granthas and writers for the sake of examination. Yes. Chaya ji and Vinita ji, I will check and let you know. But what we have given you here is Padma Puranam and Skanda Puranam. I will let you know if there is any other way of also referring to the same Puranam. Saturday class is there next week. Yes, so Saturday class is there as usual. On 21st May, on Sunday, there is no class. So we will meet the week after that. So with this, we have completed lesson 3. We could not go to Lang Lakara today. No worries, we will do it in the next class. Let us conclude as usual with Shanti Mantraha. Sarve bhavantu sukhinaha. Sarve santu niramayaha. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu. Ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarvebhyah dhanyavadaha. Agami saptahe kakshya nasti 21 dinanke. Tadanantaram punarmilamaha. Shanivasare kakshya abhyasa kakshya bhavishyati. Sudha bhagini swikaroti. Dhanyavadaha. Ram Ram Ram.